Hi, and welcome to another edition of Rabbi K's Cuts. This week I'd like to talk about Purim, but I'd also like to talk about the weekly Torah portion, for there is, of course, a connection. This week's Torah portion is Tetzaveh. Tetzaveh is primarily preoccupied with describing the clothing that the priests would wear in their temple service. Now it's very interesting because, as we know, Purim also has a unique fascination with clothing, this time in the version of costumes. Costumes which we don't seem to wear at any other time in the Jewish calendar, but yet all of a sudden on Purim emerge as a significant theme and a significant piece of the puzzle. What are clothes? What is clothing? Clothing can be very useful to us in helping identify what someone or something is about. We see someone who is dressed in laborer's clothing, a blue-collar worker, literally, so we know that this is likely the classification of their profession, of their vocation, possibly of their avocation. When we see someone dressed in a business suit, we assume something else about them. When we see someone dressed up in holiday clothing, we assume it's a holiday. Clothing is very instructive. And that is true when it comes to the day-to-day actions of the world. Clothing helps us get by in the rhythm of the world, understand who people are, how to interpret the various types of people that we encounter. Purim comes along and throws a wrench into all of that. On Purim, you can have a CEO who's dressed like a monkey or a mermaid. You could have a laborer who's dressed like a king or a queen, and we really don't know who anyone is. But isn't that really how things always are? Purim is the one day of the year where we underscore that what's really going on in life is actually quite hidden beneath the surface. Hence the emphasis on costumes, hence the emphasis on drinking, which is something that brings out the deeper essence, something which is beneath the surface, removes inhibitions. Hence the fact that God's name is not mentioned one time in the Megillah, because everything about the Megillah screams out that God is hidden, and yet ultimately God is there, beneath the surface, but still orchestrating events ever so masterfully. The word Esther, of course the heroine of the Purim story, actually means hidden, because the entire message of Purim is that the world is a place of hiddenness. What is happening on the surface isn't really what's happening beneath the surface, and it's what's beneath the surface that really counts. And so on Purim, we all dress up in costumes as if to say, what's important is what's actually hidden underneath. And every day of the year, we should recognize that what's important is not how others look and not how others are dressed and not how things and events appear to us on the surface, but to be able to look more deeply, to understand people more deeply, and to understand the world more deeply, to know that there's no such thing as simple nature that's just running events, but that there is a greater being orchestrating all events, and that there is a deeper dimension to this world, a deeper dimension to every person. That is ultimately the meaning, the overwhelmingly powerful meaning of Purim. Have a wonderful Purim and a Shabbat Shalom.